Carnivore is probably one of the best tools we can use on a ketogenic diet because we all have those days where we ate a little too much during the day. And when evening rolls around, if you eat something carnivore, you're usually safe. At least for 5 years, I have been. So with Carnivore Month coming to an end, I'm gonna try to get out 2 more recipes. This one, it is a game changer. I promise you, if you give this recipe a try, you will be hooked. Now the second video, it's gonna complement the quick and easy remix I did on Chris Cookin' Nashville's mashed potatoes. But now, let's mix this up. We're going to be using my carnivore recipe from the last video. And as you can see, these tortillas look so much better than the ones on that video. They just don't turn out the same off camera as they do on. Whether you want to use this for a wrap, soft shell taco, or how we'll be using them in taquitos. So in a small pan, I'm going to get this ground beef browned. And I'm using a higher fat content 85-15, and you'll see why I do that here in a minute. Now you could season your meat first, but I like to get the meat chopped up. This seems to help the seasonings disperse so much better in your dish. If you're wondering why I'm using a mashed potato masher for this, these work excellent for breaking up ground beef. And if you're just salt and pepper carnivore, feel free to use that, but I'm going to be using steak seasoning. Now my rule of thumb when cooking without measurements is go light because you can always add it. And yes, cumin is not carnivore, but guys remember, I have to eat this and I practice keto. Go ahead and finish getting these mixed in. Once it's mixed in and the meat is good and brown, go ahead and give it a quick taste test to make sure it's seasoned properly for your tastes. Then we're going to get this drained. Now as far as this recipe goes, I'm going to be using the beef tallow, but I'll have to add additional lard in order to have enough to fry these up. I'm going to show you guys how I take these, roll them up, and get them fried super fast, super easy. You're going to take your tortilla, then we'll take our beef, and I like to use a measuring cup. That way I know about how much I'm putting in each one. You can get a feel for if you need, say, a 1/4 cup, a 1/3 cup, whatever it is to fill your actual tortillas. So we'll go ahead and get that added. Then what you want to do is basically push your meat to about the halfway point, and then you want to hold this in place about at the halfway point too, and then begin to tightly roll this up. Once you have it rolled, what I like to do is basically set it down and then pack the end out. Once you've got it filled to the end like this, then what you want to do is make sure that you're setting at this point lip down on your tortilla, just like this. Then you want to take a kebab skewer, and we're basically going to go down the center of this, holding this in place. Right center line, push this through. That's going to hold this one for us. Now we're going to wrap our next one, and so on and so forth. Now I'm going to get back out my beef tallow, and I'll be adding some lard. Guys, you can use bacon grease or whatever you use to make sure you remain 100% carnivore. And while we wait for this to heat up, you'll see that that kebab is holding all of my taquitos so that they're perfectly held in place when I get these cooked without using a whole bunch of toothpicks. Go ahead and trim your kebab to fit your pan. And we're gonna go ahead and get this set in. And what I'm gonna do is let this side hit and then let that down into the grease. Now another thing you might want to do is have a spoon like this so that we can get this cooking on the top side too. Now do this at a side facing away from you. That way if you have any splatter, it doesn't splatter into your face. You know, with frying anything, you need to be very cautious. I had a friend lose an eye from grease. Now as you see here, I got myself into a bit of a jam and had to remove this skewer because I just couldn't safely flip these in this shallow pan. And this quickly led to a disaster. And please do not do the foolish thing I did and get that close to the hot grease. Go ahead and drain those out because they are going to fill with some grease, which on our diet, we're not really too terribly worried about. And look at that. And as you can see, with a nice crispy shell. If you like this video, I'm sure you'll like this one too. Guys, thanks so much for watching, and as always, I will see you in the next video.